blow in the playoffs.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Puck and Leafs podcast. I'm Joe Choffs, here with my boy, Coach Frank, who is fresh off of his Matt Murray apology letter. Seems to be getting a lot of traction and feedback off of YouTube. We really appreciate that, guys. If you have not checked it out, please do that and make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. We do appreciate all of the feedback we've been getting, the comments, even the negative ones. We like those ones too, so you keep them coming. Today, we're going to be talking about Mitch Marner, and who isn't talking about him right now? He is lighting up the league on a 20-game point streak, the longest in Maple Leafs history, which is saying something for a franchise that's been around for over 100 years. He now joins this incredible list of players who have been able to get a 20 or more game point streak in the last 30 years. Patrick Kane has been able to do it a couple times. Crosby had a 25-game pointer a couple years ago. Paul Stastny was able to join that list with a 20-game point streak. Danny Heatley, and of course, Maple Leaf legend Matt Sundin was able to get a 30-game point streak. But oddly enough, it was in 1990. He was still a Quebec Nordique at the time, I believe, right, Frankie?
It was, yeah.
So Mitch is leading the way, not just offensively, but defensively as well. And I'll start by asking you, Frankie, is this the best we've ever seen Mitchell Marner play?
You got to give him credit. Yeah, it has to be.
How can you not?
I think that's an easy question. Now, you're probably sitting here and saying, oh, this is a video that's going to be praising Mitch Marner. Leaf Nation's going crazy. Just sit tight because there's a twist to this, okay? We're going to get to this. But before you do that, you got to give the guy his credit. I find it amazing that he's doing this without Austin Matthews. That, I think, for me, is probably the most impressive thing. Last year, they were arguably the best line in the league between Marner, Bunting, Matthews. Unstoppable. You expected them to do something every night. And you would think a 20-game point streak would come from, having the best line in hockey. But again, he's doing this with, hey, listen, no slouch in John Tavares and a revolving door of left wingers. Nick Robertson, he's doing okay. He had a lot of chances last night, but we've seen Kerfoot there, Robertson, saw Zach Aston Reese there for a bit last night, which goes to show me that they're probably on the prowl for a top six left-handed winger. But regardless, he's doing this on his own. He's driving the play. You got to give the guy credit for it. So from that standpoint, I find it very impressive. So and that's pretty much all the kudos I'm going to give him moving forward.
I love the fact that they're split up right now. I'm sure they'll be reunited at some point, Mitch and Austin. But I feel like Babcock, as much as we rag on him, he was kind of right where he had them split up always, and it forces the other team to kind of pick their poison. I remember a couple games ago where the top pairing was matched up against Mitch's line, and it left Austin to play against the secondary pairing and secondary second line of the other team. So you're going to get matchups like that and teams that pick the other poison, and you may be able to take advantage of that. Now, everyone, Frankie is not the biggest Mitch Marner fan. In fact, he's on record in saying that the Maple Leafs will never win with Mitch Marner on this team. Frankie, do you back that up still? Do you still feel that way, or is he making a believer even out of you?
Man, I don't want to be a fanboy and all of that. I want to make a very clear distinction. He is an incredible hockey player, very skilled. His defensive game has grown leaps and bounds. It's amazing. But I'm not changing my stance. I am a Leaf fan. We all know that. We are both Leaf fans. We try to be realistic Leaf fans, not kind of the banging the drum. Oh yeah, these guys are incredible. No, I'm trying to be a realist. And I maintain my stance. The Leafs will not win, or they will not go deep with Mitch Marner on this roster. Now you're probably saying, "Well, what are you out of your friggin' mind?"
Yes, I am.
One of the best wingers in the league. You and I both know that I watch the game a little bit differently than you. I don't know any more than somebody else who coaches and stuff, but I do. I've coached the game. I look at things a little differently. I don't look at really analytics. I do a lot of it on the eye test. I got to tell you, Joe, if there's one thing this guy does that bothers me more than anything, and it's something that he hasn't cleaned up. We've seen it in overtime. It's just he takes too many shortcuts. And what I mean by that is he doesn't stop on pucks, right? He flies the zone before the Leafs have a chance to get it out. And granted, they aren't the best team at, headmanning the puck or getting the first pass out. We've seen many times where Justin Hall will throw a pizza up the middle, or at some points Jake Muzzin when he was playing. Giordano sometimes prone to it, and he's gone out of the zone. How many times in overtime he's flown the zone?
But is that part of the system? Is that what's being asked of him to do?
That's taking shortcuts.
You just said it yourself. He's one of the best defensive players in the game, and yeah, I could say that he is. He's one of the best penalty killers in the game. Forwards,
yes, but doesn't mean he doesn't cut corners.
But every player cheats for offense once in a while. He's going to take chances here and there. That's what makes him special. That's why he's able to make these incredible plays, because he's able to take those chances. And a lot of times it works out for them, but sometimes it doesn't, right?
How many times have you seen him on a penalty kill go onto his backhand and throw a lobber up the middle and fan on it?
How many times on a penalty kill have you seen him anticipate a back pass? He'll pick it right off, and they're going the other way and have a shorthanded chance.
You know what I love about this?
You got to take the good with the bad. He's trying to make the play with the backhand. If it's on his backhand, he's got to try to get it out. He's got no other choice.
You know what I love about these discussions? We're talking about recency bias. It's December. We're almost 30 games in. The guy's on a 20-game point streak. Of course, he's fantastic. But I'm talking about in May, or if they didn't even get that far, let's just say April into May. You're talking first round against Tampa Bay, tight checking. Could be playing Boston, where the refs sometimes they puts the whistle away. It becomes harder to score, and he's not one of those guys where is willing to get his nose dirty to get the job done. And we've seen it time and time again. He's the target in the playoffs. He's the one that does create a lot of mistakes, and I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing it, to be quite honest with you. I would have hoped they would have traded him in the offseason. That's just me. Am I glad he's on the team? Yeah, I'm glad he's on the team. He's a great regular season player. But until he fixes his defensive deficiencies, I guess you can say, in a playoff game, to me, they cannot win with him. He's not the type of player where you can win with him.
You mentioned that against Tampa Bay. He was in a series with Tampa Bay last year. He was really good. He's been in series against Boston. He's been really good. There was one playoff series out of all of his playoff series with the Leafs that has kind of like put a stain on his existence as a Maple Leaf. And that we all know which one that is. It's the one against the Habs where he wasn't good all series, was terrible in that game 6 that really cost him when they put it over the glass, that penalty. Other than that, he's been good. Maybe the points hasn't been he hasn't put up as many points as we'd like, but he's doing the work. He's killing penalties. You said it's his defensive game in those situations that bothers you. I still remember that game 3 against Boston where he's on at the last minute. He's blocked 3 shots and the crowd goes nuts. He's willing to put his body on the line. This is a guy you can win with. The sad fact is that it's hockey, and they've been very unfortunate in most of these series with unlucky bounces and unlucky, terrible officiating. And I'm not one to blame the officiating. They caused their own undoing in many respects against Tampa last year, but nothing has really gone their way, and that's played a role in them not winning a series yet.
They had an opportunity this year to go out and get something that this team has always lacked.
Frankie, how do you trade Mitch Marner and get better? It doesn't happen. You cannot trade that player, and you could be different, like Kyle Dubas has said in the past. We had options. We'd be different. Doesn't mean we're better. There's no trade in which you trade Mitch Marner, first-team All-Star, over 100-point-a-game player, plays in all situations, kills penalties, is one of the best setup guys in the entire league. Kid from Toronto, homegrown, loves being a Leaf. How do you get better trading him? You don't. You got to figure out a way to make it work with him.
Who would you rather have, Mitch Marner or Matthew Tkachuk?
Mitch Marner. He's a better player.
Matthew Tkachuk.
He's different. He's different than Mitch.
I want different because I'm looking at deja vu over the last 4 years, and I'm sick of the insanity. And that's how you get better. Because to me, Matthew Tkachuk is just as good, if not better, and bringing elements that
you're throwing hypotheticals out there. You don't know if that was on the table.
Deal to make. That was the deal to make. If Florida could have traded Huberdeau for Tkachuk, you could have traded Marner for Tkachuk at the time, right? You can't do it now. I'm saying hypothetically that was the trade.
I hope the Leafs make a run and Mitch shoves it, you know where, and I know you do too. You
of course I do. But I'm trying to be realistic about it. I hope he shoves it right up my ass. But if we're sitting here, hopefully not after the first round, and we're saying I can't believe how bad Mitch Marner was in the playoffs, these 20-game point streaks in December mean absolutely nothing to me because this team is still missing that element of how to win in the playoffs. And having a go-to guy that brings those elements, I know there's unicorns out there. They're hard to find, but to me, he's just another guy with a skill set like Nylander, and like it's too much for me. And I don't think I think there's better that we could find without him on this roster. Who that is, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. It's just that I wouldn't have brought the whole thing back, and he was the guy for me that I would have moved.
I think a lot of this stems from even the contract negotiation that he had 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, but I
think the way he played his cards during that, it soured a lot of people, including yourself. And then right after that year, they had the Montreal series, I believe, which soured people again. He's been working at it. He's been making believers out of people since then. And I will agree with you this. In order to fully convert people, they're going to have some playoff success, and he's going to have to play a big role in that. I still think he could do it. He's one of the best wingers in the game, one of the best players in the game, and I'm glad he's on the team still. Because after that Montreal series, I wanted him gone too. I was so fed up with him, but he's made me love him again, and hopefully he can just continue to build that confidence to thrive in this market. He loves being a Leaf, and hopefully they can have a strong run here. I'll end it with this. If he keeps up this pace, do you think Mitch Marner could possibly be nominated for the Hart Trophy at the end of the season?
I just think there's too many guys having good years. I'm gonna say no, but I think he gets nominated for the Selke.
As he should, because he's had a hell of a.
Won't win it, not over Bergeron.
No,
but he'll get nominated.
There you have it, folks. Once again, please hit that like, subscribe button. Tell us in the comments how crazy Frank is, or maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't know. Let us know what you think. And thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Take care, everybody, and let's go Leafs.